Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back from the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving back into Treasure Map versus Kuzan and Pizaro for the ambush, as well as the final boss fight, with some boosted combinations for you guys if you did some summons over on the Treasure Map banner. So in today's video, we're focusing on the combination of either Coby and one of the rare recruits, being Kuzan or Garp, or just using the two rare recruits and a friend captain, Coby. Hopefully this video helps you guys out if you're struggling with this treasure map. It is a bit of a doozy. I know a lot of people are struggling with this one, so hopefully this video does help you guys in some way. And if it does, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. With that said, let's dive into the first run. And that's going to be with both the rare recruits. Starting off with the invasion or the ambush Kuzan, we're utilizing Garp and Kuzan on the team with a friend captain Coby. That was the team, those are the supports. Let's dive on in now. Nami, Karina, and the Giants are probably the big ones that a lot of people are going to ask for replacements for. Nami Karina's been out for a little while, and look, everyone should be chasing Nami Karina, especially when it comes to treasure map. They are the most valuable unit when it comes to the treasure map game mode. They are just boosted all across the board. They are obviously give themselves cooldown. They work on mini bosses. They work on final bosses. They are definitely a unit you want to pick up if you're a newer player, just to help you like with the new world, just as a whole. As for the Giants is going to be a little bit harder to replace, especially on this particular team. You're going to need to find a way to just remove special blinds. You can use the Garp support on... No, you can't. You're using Garp on the team. Never mind. To basically do that, like, you're going to need a 7-turn special bind remover, as well as someone that can do, like, end-of-turn damage. So, it's going to be a rough one to replace. The Giants work exceptionally well for turn 2. They remove all the special binds, 7 turns of it, as well as they doing that end-of-turn damage. To get around the damage reduction, we're using Beppo. Oh, no, we're not. We're using Garp with the Sengoku support, and then we're using Kuzan to get around the defense up. So, the two combination of the rare recruits works very, very well for turn 2. The downside is that you do want to have that Sengoku support because you need that extra 2 turns of damage reduction for Garp. It's very weird. I don't know what they wanted you to really do there. If they wanted to use like double special with Garp, it's definitely doable with like utilizing a frit like double Coby, but if you don't have double Coby, it can be a little bit challenging. On the final stage, there is threshold, defense up, and attack down, plus your 3 random crewmates get blinded. So basically you need captains to deal with the blind, but if you remove blind, there's an interrupt that gives you despair. So very annoying. The idea here is they want you to use the territory of Coby being your captain, and then Coby removes it with his captain ability. Once a territory goes up, he removes 6 turns of it, and it all works out pretty hunky-dory that way. As you can see, we get around it thanks to this ship being level 12. Any ship that has 1 turn of blind removal is going to help you guys out, with Ace giving you 4 turns, and then Coby giving you 6. Plus your 3 sockets will be the 13 turns. It's a lot if you don't have double Coby, I know. But having any level 12 ship that's going to give you 1 turn of blind is very, very key for that particular fight. Nami, Karina basically take care of the rest. Luffy gives you an attack boost. Kobe's an orb booster, and as you can see, it's a pretty easy kill there. Onto the Pizaro fight. It's a lot easier than the ambush. Like, a lot easier. And if you guys have Kuzan and Garp, it actually just makes the final stage very, very simple. The downside to having Kuzan is that you can't run the Pikqchu Kuzan, and the Pikqchu Kuzan is actually really good for turn 2. So that's like the big downside to this particular treasure map. They made a 1.4 booster and a 2 times booster of the same unit. So it's very hard for people with the batch to get the max amount of points. But we brought Carrot and Nami on this particular team. They're going to be a straight replacement for that Kuzan. They can get around the bind, but they can also rotate the block orbs, which is really, really nice for stage 2. There is an intimidation on this stage. You can't really use an attack and an orb boost unless it's like 4 turns to carry it over. But like literally just with Carrot and Nami, you have plenty of damage here. You can spam the Beppo special on this turn, get the 3 turns of color affinity, carry that into the final stage, as Pizaro is a int character. Coby and Luffy and Beppo are all going to hit very, very hard. And that way you could just sort of like take out Pizaro just a lot easier. You ideally would want to use the Luffy special here, but like because of the intimidation, it does make it a little bit more challenging. As you can see though, with the color affinity, the chain boundary, it's a free kill. Like, it's not hard to kill Pizaro there. Pizaro's going to leave with a 99% HP cut. Very annoying stuff, but don't stress because you really don't need to heal on the final stage anyway. Kobe's little end-of-turn healing will trigger as you guys move into the final stage, so that's always fun. And then on the final stage, you need to get around Despair, Attack Down, Block Orbs, and Damage Nullification. Now, Garp and Kuzan help out with the attack down and the despair. Luffy, as your captain, is also going to remove some of the despair as well, which is really, really nice. Then with Garp and Kuzan, you get a chain boundary, increased damage taken. And then with Coby and Luffy, you get an attack boost and an orb buff. Remember, we have that color affinity carryover from Beppo, and this particular team, look, it's going to have a lot of damage in it. Like, it should work for a very long time. I don't really see an era where after 10 million points, you will be struggling that much. But look, most people that are probably using this particular team, you're going to hit 10 million points very, very quickly. And if you do some extra runs here and there, like, you're going to get a lot of damage output with this particular team anyway. If you're going for ranking, you could probably squeeze a little bit more points out of it. But at the end of the day, Treasure Map's all about speed nowadays. You really want damage, you really want speed. And this particular team is going to work very, very nicely. Alright, so if you were lucky enough to pull Coby and one of the rare recruits, you're going to be in for a really, really good time. Now, we're going to start off with Coby and Garp combination, and then we'll move on to the Coby and Kuzan combination. I will do a full batch run a little bit later with just like my entire build from mini boss to the end fight. But right now, we're going to focus on just the combination of Coby with one of the rare recruits. Now, if you have Coby and Garp, the Coby Garp combination, it actually works really, really nicely. Because Garp triggers the Coby super type, you can basically just replace Luffy on most of these teams. It just works out really nicely. The downside here is that on turn 2 of the invasion, there is resilience. And to get around resilience, it's a little bit annoying because not a lot of characters can do end of turn damage. Now, if you have the giants, just slap the giants on here. But I thought this would be a really good place to showcase a replacement option if you guys have Coby. If you have Coby, you can use his superclass on turn, one of them on turn 2, use the Coby special on turn 2 to remove the special bind, because you have 2 Cobys, you're getting 12 turns now, and then you can use the free-to-play Luffy, because he's an attack booster, to actually give you a end-of-turn damage thanks to the Momo support. Once you do that, you can use Hina to remove the defense up. You can use Garp with the Sengoku support to remove the damage reduction, and with that, you're pretty much off to the races. If you guys want more points, though, you just use the Giants. The Giants are a 1.35 booster compared to a 1.22 of Luffy. So if you just want more points, just use the Giants there. But if you don't have the Giants, this is the way to do it. So that way you don't have to worry about having a illustrious Sugo rare that some people skipped because it's obviously a regular Sugo. On the final stage, there's defense up, threshold, attack down. I believe you have to deal with a full board of block orbs once again. And this is where Nami, Karina just like make it easy mode. You also get that 13 turn bind on 3 of your random crewmates, and having 2 Cobys here just makes this ridiculously easy. As soon as you put up a territory, you are going to get the 6 turns of bind removal with Coby's captain ability. Because you're running 2 Cobys, you're going to get 12 turns of that, and you realistically only need to remove 10. So, works out pretty hunky-dory there. So, with sockets, double Coby, you're off to the races. Nami Karina with the VV support is going to help you out with the threshold. You do just need that 1 extra turn of threshold. Very, very annoying. The idea here is they want you to use the sword Donnies. So, if you have that sword legend, you can replace Nami Karina, I believe. And that way they basically set the threshold down by 90% or something silly. So Nami Karina, though, they're super good for this final stage. They take care of basically everything for you. And with that, you have an attack boost, you have an orb buff, you have a chain multiplicative buff. You're pretty set for damage there. As for the Pizaro fight, as mentioned earlier, like it's a lot easier than the Intrusion. It's a lot easier. Now, if you have Robin, the free-to-play Robin, which everyone should with the free-to-play Frankie support, you're basically covered for everything on the final stage. Like, it's really nice. If you bring, like, the opera support on Coby as well, like, you're in for a really good time. The thing with Garp is he helps you with the attack down, but like you don't really need help with the attack down for this particular team. On turn 2, you get binded in your middle row. So obviously utilizing the super type and the special of Coby is going to remove that, but you can also use the free-to-play Kuzan. He removes 6 turns of it as well. He gives you 3 turns of a chain lock. Garp gives you a chain boundary though, now I'm thinking about it. So like you don't really need to use the Kuzan special. You could just use Coby and just remove it like that, and then save Garp for the final stage. Use the Garp chain boundary instead of the 3.25 chain lock that Kuzan's giving you. But look, at the end of the day, it's much of a muchness, and both of them are going to work absolutely fine. Once you kill Pizaro, he runs away. He does 99% HP cut along the way, and then you can move into the final stage. On the final stage, again, you have Despair, you have the attack down, you have the block orbs, which Robin basically just takes care of all of it. You can use other supports to help you out. Obviously, Garp is going to remove 4 turns of attack down, so you don't really need the attack down support on Robin, if that's the case. You also have Law on Beppo as well that you can use. But Kuzan is the one that usually removes the Despair. So you're basically just going to need some sort of Despair removing support. And for this team, I used Opera on Coby, I believe. That was the Despair removing support, who's free to play over in the arenas in the Coliseum, over in Recollective Archive. So if you guys are missing some Despair supports, you could definitely go over there. Robin could probably use a Despair support. Like you could definitely replace that Coby, Beppo might have one too. I know Kuzan has Oniguru, so you can use him as well, but he's obviously a little more illustrious than something like Opera. So there you go. That was Coby and Garp. Let's move on to Coby and Kuzan now. Over on the Kuzan fight. So utilizing Coby and Kuzan, the team looks very similar to the one that you guys saw with Garp. Because we have Luffy on the team, we're still triggering the super class, so that doesn't need to be worried about too much. The only difference here is that you do need to remove damage reduction on turn 2 because we don't have Garp. Upside to this team is Beppo is a 1.4 times booster. He removes 6 turns of damage reduction with his triple special activation, and that way you can basically just sub out Hina for Beppo, which works well. Another option to use too, by the way, is on that other team, you can replace Hina with Kid, actually, because Kid gets plenty of cooldowns under double Coby. So if you guys want to run something like that, you could definitely do something like that as well. But for this team, we are using the 1.4 booster in Beppo. Because we have the Luffy on the team, we get the super type of, or super class, I should say, of Coby. Use the Coby special, apply the territory, remove the special bind, works like a dream. Luffy, obviously with that Momo support once again, gives us an attack buff, gives us end of turn damage, which bypasses the resilience. And then with Kuzan and Beppo, you can get around the 6 turns of damage reduction and the 4 turns of defense up. Works super nicely. Kuzan's a little bit nicer for this particular team than what Garp's actually doing, but either way, you are going to be getting around a lot of the stuff that you need to get around. Just downside, you have to use 3 specials to remove all of the damage reduction. A little bit annoying, but at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. End of turn damage from Momo is the clutch here. Again, though, if you guys have the Giants, you could probably replace Luffy with the Giants. But with that, you won't have the super type, so actually, you probably can't, because Kuzan doesn't trigger it. Never mind. Ignore me. Ignore me. Moving on to the final stage against Kuzan. Again, he gives us that very annoying blind on 3 random crewmates and then has defense up in threshold. Again, Nami Kirino is just the goat here. We have the VV support helps out, but you can use the anniversary Chopper. The strength rare recruit can definitely go on Nami Kirino as well, so you have other options there if you didn't pull the support rare recruit of Vivi. So you can definitely utilize that. Nami Kirino, they're so good for this fight. Like, they're so damn good. They remove literally everything you need to remove. The attack down, damage reduction, defense up the threshold. It's all super, super nice. All super, super nice. With that, you have an attack boost, you have a base stat boost, a color affinity, an orb buff. You basically have everything you need. You just have everything you need to win, and it's pretty much just a one tap. Wham bam, thank you, man. On to the Alvar Pizarro fight. We are utilizing double Coby and Kuzan once again, and as I mentioned throughout all these videos, this particular fight is just way easier than the intrusion. With this particular team, we do have to bring Luffy though, because we do want to trigger the super class of Coby. That's the downside to not having a Garp on the team, and obviously if you pulled Kuzan, you can't use the free-to-play Kuzan, so your points are going to be a little bit lower for the final boss fight, but I think they're a little bit higher for the intrusion, so a little bit of a trade-off, but it's much of a much, just like I spoke about earlier. As for stage 2, to get around the bind, you just need to use the super type, so super class I should say, and the special of Coby. Once you apply the territory, it removes the bind, works like a dream, and then you can basically just kill with that on this particular turn. Again, you can spam the Beppo special till the sun comes home if you really want to, but it's really not necessary because you can just use it once on the final stage in the early fights, and you're going to have plenty of damage to kill. Later on though, like, you might want to utilize it there. I don't know if the second boss actually stacks, if the HP gets higher and stuff like that, but if it does, you might need to utilize the Beppo special there. On the final stage, Kuzan is actually really good here because he gives you the increased damage taken, which is going to allow you guys to do heaps more damage. Plus, he can remove Despair. So the combination of him and Robin can remove the Despair. They also remove the attack down with a little bit of help with some supports. With this particular team, you are going to need more than just the Frankie support. So you are going to want to slap on something like the Law support on Beppo or the Grandpa Hyoguru support on Luffy. That could definitely work too to get around some attack down. As for the damage nullification, Kobe's going to take care of that. Beppo's going to give us color affinity. Luffy's going to give us an attack boost. We have an orb buff thanks to Coby as well. And pretty much we have every buff that we need to just do lots and lots of damage. So this particular team is going to work out very, very nicely. Shouldn't struggle struggle too much into the later stages, or at least what most people will be grinding for in Treasure Map anyway. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.